You're listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Football Language podcast for learners of English who love the beautiful game of football. My name is Damien and I am here in London where it has been wet and windy. But we still managed to play some football this morning. What is the weather like where you are? And I wonder what the weather is like in Tokyo, where the other member of the Learn English Through Football team, Damon, is based. How are things, Damon?
Hi, Damien. I'm doing well, thank you. And the weather over here in Tokyo is glorious. Sunny, but with a nice winter coolness. The leaves on the trees have turned very autumnal and it's the weekend, so very nice indeed here. I'm guessing you must have been watching the World Cup qualifiers carefully this week, with Ireland in action, hoping to get one of the top two spots in their group. What did you think of their win over Portugal? I know you'll be talking about some language from the qualifiers later in the show, but what was your reaction?
Oh, it was an amazing night. Finally, a big Irish win against a big football nation. It also means we have a small chance of qualifying for the World Cup, which would be amazing, especially after our poor start to the qualifying campaign. And we'll be talking about some language to do with qualifying later on in the show.
State ascoltando languagecaster.com.
Now, this wasn't the only football I saw during the week, as I was in Malaga in the south of Spain last weekend, where I was lucky enough to go back to La Rosaleda, and that's the name of the Malaga home stadium. And I went to see Malaga draw 2-2 with Córdoba in a second division match. It was great to be back in La Rosaleda, although the last minute equaliser, a real last gasp goal for Córdoba, meant that the home fans were not all that happy.
Hola a todos, estáis escuchando languagecaster.com.
Yes, that message was in Spanish. Indeed, it was from a Malaga fan. And yes, you are listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast. Remember that our new website address is learningenglishthroughfootball.com. You can still reach us at the old address, languagecaster.com, and you will still hear some stingers mentioning Languagecaster too.
Merhaba beyler, ben Türkiye'den Mert. Şu anda Languagecaster dinliyorsunuz. Sevgiler.
Right, that message we just heard was in Turkish, and as always, we will have some more stingers or messages throughout the show in different languages. How many will you be able to recognize? And we'll let you know the languages at the end of the show.
Now, before we move to our main section, listener, just a message to say that we'd love you to send in an audio of you saying you are listening to Learn English Through Football podcast in your language. Send it to us at contact@learnenglishthroughfootball.com and we'll add it to our show. And if you're too busy for that, at least leave us a like or rate us on your favorite podcast platform. Cheers.
Vous écoutez languagecaster.com.
Okay, here's Damien with some language from the World Cup qualifiers this week, including Group Decider.
Right, this is the final weekend of World Cup qualifiers for the 2026 tournament, and we are going to look at some football language connected to these qualifiers. We'll look at must win, and before that, we'll explain the phrase group decider. So, the European group qualifiers have reached their final matches this week, and so far only England and France have qualified for next summer's finals. But many other teams should book their place after this week's set of games, including Norway, who have to avoid a heavy defeat at home to Italy, and Spain, who face the same scenario against Turkey. But there are also some crucial or important matches between two sides that will decide which teams qualify for the finals next summer. Germany host Slovakia in Group A on Monday with both sides on 12 points. So, whichever side wins will directly go through to the World Cup finals. One way of describing this game is a group decider, as it will decide which team will top the group and which team will be runners-up and then go into a playoff. Group F also has a group decider as Ireland travel to Hungary on Sunday, knowing that a win will see them go through to the playoffs in March. Hungary know that a win or a draw will see them through instead. Interestingly, if Portugal were to lose at home, then maybe they would have to qualify via the playoffs, and one of the winners would go directly to the finals instead. So even though this is a big game in the group, it does not have two teams fighting it out directly for qualification. So a group decider is when both teams have a chance to qualify. It decides the group. It could also decide which teams are seeded in the next rounds of the tournament and maybe even decide a team's future opponents.
Ön a languagecaster.com-ot hallja.
Okay, so another phrase that sums up these types of matches is must win, a must-win game. This describes the situation in which a draw is no good. The team must or has to win to have a chance to qualify or to win or even to stay up. So, a draw for Ireland in Hungary is not enough for them to qualify. They have to win. It's a must-win game for them. Here's another similar expression. Winner takes all, which means the winner will directly qualify and the loser will have to go through the playoffs. Here's an example from the BBC website about the group decider between Scotland and Denmark on Tuesday. Scotland now welcome Danes to Hampden on Tuesday in winner-takes-all showdown with place at next summer's World Cup at stake. And this means that the Scottish team will host Denmark in a group decider or showdown in a must-win game to see which team makes it to the finals next year and which one will have to face two more playoff games in March. It's all very exciting indeed, with group deciders, must-wins, showdowns and winner-takes-it-all matches coming up over the next few days.
Registrando i languagecaster.com.
Right, let's take a look at some of these group deciders in our predictions section. First up, Hungary versus Ireland.
Okay, well, I don't think Portugal are going to slip up, so Ireland are going to have to beat Hungary to qualify via the playoffs, I think. Now, the two teams drew when the fixture was in Ireland, so to get a result away will be a big challenge for Ireland. Of course, Hungary too will be desperate to qualify. To be honest, I think this is a toss of a coin. Either side could win. The results so far in the group show they are pretty evenly matched. I don't think there'll be a winner. Maybe another 2-2. Sorry, Damien.
I don't think many pundits would predict an Irish win, but after the victory over Portugal this week, there is a confidence about the young side that hopefully will carry through. They have to win to make the playoffs, so if they are still in with a chance in the last 20-25 minutes, then it will be fun, as Hungary will be nervous. My head says we will lose, but my heart says a 2-1 away win. Come on, you boys in green. Damon, how about the Germany versus Slovakia game in Group A?
The Germany versus Slovakia game will be more straightforward, I reckon. I can't see Germany losing at home in the last game of the qualifiers. I think they'll remain top of the group with a 2-0 comfortable win. Perhaps with their in-form centre-forward Voltemada on the score sheet. How about you, Damien? What are your thoughts?
Well, they both have 12 points, and of course, Slovakia have beaten the Germans in the first game in the group. And despite the fact that Germany are not playing well, I still think they should have enough for this one at home. Maybe 2-0 as well, yeah.
Sie hören gerade languagecaster.com.
Now, there are two other huge World Cup qualifiers, two big group deciders that will decide which teams will make it to the World Cup. In Group H, in the European qualification section, Austria lead Bosnia-Herzegovina by 2 points, and these two sides face each other on Tuesday. Bosnia have to win to qualify directly, a must-win game, while Austria know that a draw will be enough. In this group decider, I'm going for an Austrian win. Now, the other big group decider this week is from the CONCACAF qualifier between Jamaica and Curaçao. Jamaica are 1 point behind Curaçao before they face each other on Tuesday, but I wonder if home advantage might be enough to see them through. Of course, if Curaçao make it to the finals next summer, then they would be the smallest ever nation to do so. Okay, apologies Curaçao fans. I think Jamaica will win this one, maybe 2-1.
Du lytter til languagecaster.com.
How about practicing your predictions language with us? What do you think will happen in any games that you are watching over the weekend? Let us know by coming along to our site and leaving a comment either below this post or on our forum. It's a really nice way to practice some of your writing, and you can leave a predictions voice note as well.
You're listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast.
And of course, don't forget we have a huge glossary of football terms with hundreds of expressions, phrases and cliches about the beautiful game of football. And if you want to send in any new words that you have heard, again, just drop us a line.
Tá tú a géisteacht le languagecaster.com.
Yes, you are listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast, and that message was in Irish. We also heard Italian, French, German and Spanish, as well as Danish, Polish and Turkish, all European languages, and many of them from teams that are involved in some big group deciders. Well done if you got any of those correct, and remember you can add a message by sending us a recording for the Learn English Through Football podcast. We'd love to hear from you.
Właśnie słuchasz languagecaster.com.
Right, let us know if you hear or see any of the phrases or words that we have talked about on this week's show, including group deciders, must-wins, showdowns, and winner takes it all. How would you say these phrases in another language that you know? Enjoy all the football this week. We'll be back early again next week with another weekly football expression, and we'd really appreciate it, as Damon said, if you could share our site with your friends and give us a like on your favourite podcast platform. Enjoy all the football this week. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra, enjoy all the football.